Welcome. Namaste. Welcome to this practice of stretching and moving with gratitude. This nice gentle flow today will help get into the low back and the hips. So just get comfortable on your mat here. We're going to start with a little pranayama, a little breath work. So whatever you need, if you need a blanket to sit on or a bolster, crossing your legs in Sukhasana or feet out in front, whatever's comfortable for you. Just come to that nice steady base there. Tiny movements until you feel comfortable closing your eyes, hands on your knees. Breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth, letting all the tension and stress of the day just melt away. Focusing here only on your breath, only on your prana, that life energy. Evening out your breath, that 3-part breath. On the inhale, feeling that breath rise from your low belly, up to your mid belly, and then to the top of your lungs. On the exhale, moving back down through the top of your lungs to your mid-belly, and then down through your low belly. Evening out your breath. So let's just be here. In yoga, we refer to the ethical practice as yamas and niyamas, and one of the niyamas is the practice of santosha, or contentment. And the niyamas help us explore directions that can lead us in a better life. Maybe we're not even aware of these things, so our focus today is on santosha. As you breathe deeply and evenly, direct your focus the idea of contentment. Even in these crazy times when we're feeling a lack of control, let's just be here. Continuing that steady breath, continuing your focus only on your breath. We often desire to move on to the next place, the next day, to be done with this experience, and our ability to just be and to be content in this moment can be difficult. As humans, it's normal to always be searching, be busy, restless, but it's also in our capacity, our ability to be content and quiet and still, even in the midst of so much discomfort. And that is yoga. So perhaps as you move through practice, your mantra can be, let's just be here, or the word contentment. So gently let your eyes flutter open. We're going to come to laying on our backs. So stretch your arms overhead and let those feet stretch out towards the edge of your mat and really just get a nice stretch here. Maybe some C stretches, getting into that low back, feeling all that stress and tension melt away. And rock your knees up and down, and then bring that right knee in towards your chest and give that right knee a hug. And then bring that left knee into your chest and give that left knee a hug. So both knees in, breathing in deeply and exhaling, rolling around on that low back, massaging that low back. And now press that left leg out so it's laying flat on the mat. Keep that right knee in towards your chest. Bring your arms out to a T and lift up on your left hip. Come up on that left hip. Let that right knee just flow and relax over to the left side. Your gaze can go up towards the ceiling or out over your right side, trying to keep those shoulder blades on the ground in this reclined spinal twist. Any twists we do are great for our digestion or circulation. This is a wonderful twist to help strengthen our low back and get into that spine and shoulders. Then bring that right knee back up to center and bring both knees into your chest. And again, give yourself a little hug, a little rock and roll, and then relax that left leg all the way straight on your mat. Arms out to a T, lift up on that right hip as that left knee relaxes over to the right side. Again, gaze straight ahead or over the left shoulder, whatever's comfortable for your neck here. Breathing into your hip, feeling that lengthening in your spine, that nice stretch. And bring that knee back up through center, both knees in towards your chest. Another nice hug to both of your knees. Maybe rock and roll here and just roll around. You can rock back and forth along that spine if you choose. And when you're ready, you can either roll up to seated or just come over to one side and press yourself back up into easy sit pose or Sukhasana here. And make some movements in that spine and that waist as you make circles. You can go clockwise and then counterclockwise. Feel a release in that low back. Continuing your breath, continuing mindfully moving, slow and steady. Now come to tabletop position. So hands are spread wide on your mat. If you need a blanket under your hands for your wrists or blanket under your knees for your knees, feel free to grab your props here. Hands right in line with your shoulders, knees right in line with your hips. Sometimes it's nice to take that block to make sure that your knees are hip distance apart. Moving into some cat-cows. On your inhale, release your belly to the ground. Gaze up towards the ceiling, shoulders roll down and back. And the exhale, round that back into cat pose, chin to chest. And then inhale, back to cow, belly to the ground, gaze up, shoulders down and back. Exhale to cat pose, chin to chest, rounding that back. And move into a few cat-cows at your own pace. Exhaling to cat, inhaling to cow. Use your breath here to move through these poses. On your next full cat and cow, come to neutral spine. And I'm going to turn here so you can see. If you want to look up at the screen, you can, but take that right foot and slide it out to the side. So the sole of your foot is on the ground. And if you've looked up at the camera, make sure you take your gaze back to the ground so you don't have any lines in your neck. You want a nice straight neck here. Your foot will be engaged in the ground to the right side of you. So the pinky side of your foot is pressing into the ground, feeling a great stretch all the way up through your inner thigh. Breathe here, breathe into that right side. On your next inhale, sweep that right arm up overhead. Your gaze can follow that hand in a nice twist, a nice revolved tabletop twist. Feel the energy from your shoulder shooting out through your fingertips. And then bring your hand back down to the ground and slide that right knee back in to meet your left and take your left leg out to the side, pressing the sole of your foot in the ground, that pinky side of your foot in the ground. Really get that nice stretch in the inside of your thigh, inside of your leg, hamstrings, breathing in and out. And now on your next inhale, sweep that left arm up overhead. Your gaze can follow. Stretching and twisting here. Bring your hands back down to the ground. Slide that left knee in to meet your right. And maybe move through a cat-cow pose here, just to release and reset your spine. Remembering to inhale up through cow and exhale to cat. And now from here, kneel on your mat. Come up to kneeling. And you can use your blocks here. We're going to do another hamstring stretch. Sometimes the blocks are nice to have. This is half Hanumanasana, half splits pose. So from here, bring your hands to the blocks or the ground and step that right foot between the blocks or your hands. And then start to slide that right foot out in front of you so the heel of your foot is on the ground. Your right toes are reaching up towards the ceiling. And inhale and maybe exhale as you float that torso over that right leg. Maybe you stay up. If you're using blocks, your blocks have different levels, right? So you can move those blocks however is comfortable for you. So breathe here, press that right hip back, make sure those hips are even, and breathe. Let your breath swirl along that right hip to release any tension. And then inhale and slide that right foot back to meet your left knee. And inhale back up to kneeling and reposition. Then bring your hands back down to the ground or your blocks and step that left foot in between your hands or those blocks and start to wiggle that left foot in front till you come onto the heel of your left foot, toes reaching up towards the ceiling in that nice stretch. Keeping your spine nice and straight here, no curves. So if you're curving, if your chin's going towards your chest, straighten that spine out, let that gaze look directly in front of those feet. And breathe. Inhaling, maybe on the exhale, you can float that torso down, getting a deeper stretch in your hamstrings. And then on your next inhale, slide that left foot back to meet your right, and you can move those blocks out of the way. If you feel like a cat-cow here to reposition your spine, you can. Otherwise, walk your hands a few inches in front of you, curl those toes under. We're going to come to down dog, our first and only down dog of this class. So push into those curled toes till your heels float towards the ground. Let your head come between your ears, between your elbows, between your arms. Shake your head yes and no. Maybe reposition your feet here. Maybe your pinky toes come to the edge of your mat into a wide-legged downward dog. And just start to pedal your feet here, pressing back and forth, your chest coming towards your thighs as you rotate your shoulders in and out. Really spread those shoulder blades wide, that scapula. And make sure that your wrists are at a nice angle, nice position. They're not hurting. Pinch the ground with your fingers here to really get a lift up and out of the palm of your hand. Inhale deeply up through the nose and exhale out the mouth. On your next inhale, look forward, bend your knees, and walk or step however many steps it takes to get into forward fold. Crown of your head reaching towards the ground. Grab a hold of each of your elbows and just sway in ragdoll. Tiny bend in your knees. This is a nice release to your low back. It's great for calming and anxiety. So just sway here for a few breaths and breathe. And then come to stillness. Let your arms drop to the ground. Inhale to halfway lift. Flat back here, fingertips to calves or shins. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, tiny bend to your knees as you sweep your arms all the way up overhead and then down through heart center. And now here, sweeping your arms up overhead, bend your right elbow and take your fingertips to the back of the blade, the back of your shoulder blade. And let that right elbow kind of come into your ear, and then bring that left hand to that right elbow and just press into, hold on to that right elbow and press into your head, right? And as you breathe, inhale and lengthen, and let that hand move down your back as you get a stretch across your shoulders. And then release your arms here and bend that right elbow. Bring those fingertips to your shoulder blade. Right hand to left elbow, pressing in towards your ear, and breathe and stretch. And then release your arms and just give it a shake. And I'm going to reposition so that you can see me better. Okay, so now come to the top of your mat, shake it out. We're going to stand in Tadasana here just for a few breaths, but I want you to feel the power, the groundedness in Tadasana. So feet should be hip distance apart, like that block is in between those feet. Lift the toes up and down on your mat, tiny bend in your knees. Roll your legs, your thighs in towards the midline. Tuck your tailbone under. Your belly will lift up and in towards the bottom of your rib cage. Shoulders up towards your ears and then back down. Palms facing forward. Chin at a gentle angle to the ground. And breathe. And close your eyes here if they aren't already closed. Feel the power, the strength, the lift you get from this grounding pose. Yoga teaches us to be fully present and at ease in whatever circumstance we're in. And when we practice grounding exercises like Tadasana, mountain pose, you'll feel more secure, more safe, more stable, creating more santosha, more contentment in your life. Now gently open your eyes and come to the top of your mat if you're not already there. And feeling that same stability, make sure as you step back into crescent lunge alanasana, we're going to step back with our left foot, that you feel stable and balanced. Don't worry about the strength part of it. You want that stability first. So bringing your hands to your hips, stepping back into crescent lunge. You should be up on the ball of your foot. If you're feeling very unsteady today, you can always drop that heel down into Warrior One, Virabhadrasana One. But if you can, come up on the ball of your feet. Make sure your feet are in those railroad tracks. If they're feeling unsteady or unbalanced, you might need to widen your stance here. And when you're ready, sweep your arms up overhead. If your shoulders are cranky, fingers can come to your shoulders. They can cross across your, like a pretzel. They can cactus. You can cactus your arms, whatever's comfortable for you today. And breathe. Hips should be facing the front of your mat. That right knee should be in line with the right ankle. And breathe here, feeling that balance between your left and your right foot, feeling that lift up from the ground, up to your pelvis, and then all the way through your spine, out through the crown of your head. Breathe. Inhale and exhale. On your next inhalation and then exhale, sweep those hands behind you as your torso floats over that right knee. And then inhale back up and exhale and float forward into this nice rhythmic movement. Be very mindful here. Subtle movements, slow and steady, but find your rhythm. Exhale forward, inhale up, exhale forward and up. Now bring your hands back through heart center. We're going to turn towards the long edge of our mat, coming to star pose. Toes out towards the corner at an angle. And just reach your arms up overhead, tiny bend in your knees, lift your toes up off the mat and then down. Pinky fingers facing each other, really open up that chest, really shining gratitude and love and blessings out to our friends and our community and our world. Breathing here, very open pose. Now bring your hands down through heart center, coming to goddess squat. Bend your knees and wiggle around till you feel nice and centered. You don't want your torso floating over the ground. You want to be nice and straight and tall here. Hands in Anjali Mudra. Breathing here in this wonderful goddess squat. Another very grounding pose, strengthening our lower body, our glutes, our hips, our thighs, our calves. It's a wonderful hip opener. Even tuck your hip under, really relaxes your pelvic floor, stimulating your respiration, cardiovascular system. Breathing here, moving into another rhythm. On the inhale, sweep your arms overhead as you straighten your legs, tapping your hands together overhead. Exhale, sweeping your arms back into Anjali Mudra, bending into goddess. Inhale, straighten legs, arms up. Exhale, sweep your arms back, bending into goddess. Move through a few of these rhythmic movements on your own. Inhaling and exhaling. Feel at ease, feeling some contentment here, just being here. On your next inhale and then exhale, come back up to standing. We're going to move to the back of our mat into crescent lunge Alanasana. So take your time here to come up on the ball of your foot. Maybe you start in Warrior One. Hips will be facing the back of the mat. Come up on the ball of those right toes. And then bring your hands wherever they're comfortable, sweeping them up overhead or cactusing them. Again, your left knee will be over the left ankle. Breathing in here, feeling the line of your back right leg, nice and straight and steady and balanced. In any poses where your arms are overhead, if you take your hands and you pat the walls, right? Like pat, pat, pat on the side, and then sweep those hands so your pinkies are facing each other. It really opens up your heart center. Sharing gratitude with the world here. Relaxing your shoulders away from your ears. Maybe a tiny smile. Relaxing your face. Continuing to breathe, slow and steady. And now in the next inhale, sweep those arms behind you, chest over that left knee. Exhale and inhale, back and forth at your own steady pace. Inhale and exhale. Feel imbalanced? Just lay that heel down. Now come back up to center, hands to Anjali Mudra, coming back to goddess on the long end of your mat again. So hands to Anjali Mudra, bending those knees into goddess squat, tucking that tailbone under a tiny bit, and breathe. Inhale, exhale. Bring your hands to your knees. This time your torso is over the ground. You're going to inhale and bring that right shoulder in towards that left knee. Inhale back up and exhale, left shoulder to right knee. And move through a few of these stretches on your own. Maybe you want to stay to one side longer than another. Or maybe you want to make this more of a rhythmic movement yourself, inhaling and exhaling. Feeling a wonderful length from your pelvis out through the crown of your head. Feeling a nice strength in those thighs, keeping you above ground. And then come to stillness and come back up to standing in goddess, hands to Anjali Mudra. Then inhale and straighten your legs, hands up overhead and star. Again, shining your light, shining your blessings, your gratitude. Bring your hands down through heart center. And then step to the front of your mat into Tadasana, mountain pose. Take a few breaths here again. Wiggle those toes up and down. Really feel the groundedness here. Feel that earth holding you up. Steadying your breath. On the next inhale, sweep your arms up overhead. Upward salute. Exhale, forward fold. Fingertips to the ground. Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. Ardha Uttanasana, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Now here, bend your knees and let that belly just lay on your thighs. We're going to come up into Utkatasana, chair pose. So first, just let that belly kind of relax on your thighs. Bend your knees here, and then take your fingertips and let them just sweep the ground. And then on your next inhales, let those fingers come all the way up to the ceiling, right? Press back through those heels. Make sure your knees are not over those toes. If they are, push those knees back so that you can still see your toes. Wiggle those toes around. Press back through your heels. Your ears should be between your arms. And breathe. This is fierce pose, Utkatasana. Wiggle those fingers. Now bring your hands down through heart center, Anjali Mudra. Straighten those legs as you forward fold again. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. And then bring yourself down to the mat. We're going to move to staff pose or Dandasana. So in this pose, it's just like Tadasana, mountain pose, only we're seated on the ground. So wiggle around on those sits bones until you feel nice and grounded. If you flex your feet so much that your heels are lifted off the ground, relax those heels down. They don't need to be that tight and that rigid. So heels on the ground, but toes facing up towards the ceiling, hands right next to you. Close your eyes, breathe here. Feel both hips, both of your bums, cheeks on your mat. Feel the length in your spine. Feel the energy from the earth moving up through the base of that spine, up through the length, all the way out through the crown of your head. And then exhale that energy back down through your body. Feel the strength of your legs, the back of the earth on your legs. Feeling at ease here, even in this strong pose. Then on your next inhale and exhale, gently open your eyes if they were closed. We're going to forward fold over those legs. So keeping that nice straight spine here. Inhale and start to bend at the hips, not the waist. You don't want it curved back. You want a nice straight spine. So walk those hands maybe to your calves. Maybe you can grab a hold of those big toes with your peace fingers, but you want to always have that nice long spine. So inhale and then exhale, forward fold over here. Again, your belly. Try to think of that belly moving back and then up into that low rib cage. That will help create space and expansion here for your breath. Using your core, again, feeling all parts of your legs connected with the earth. Your gaze should be down towards the ground. No little kinks in the neck there. Nice long neck. And breathe into the space. Maybe as you inhale and exhale, that belly floats a little bit closer to those knees. Now on your next inhale, come back up to seated, and we're going to come to our backs. So lay on your back and bring those knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice hug, maybe a tiny massage, roll back and forth on that spine. drop those feet to the ground. Your knees should be facing the ceiling. Lift that right leg up towards the ceiling and bring that right ankle right on top of that left knee. If you want, you can stay right here. This is a stretch for the hip, for your psoas muscles. If you want, you can lift that left knee in towards your chest, which is going to bring your right leg in towards your chest. You can stay right here, or if you want to take your hands and put them behind your knee, you can. Your right elbow will be on your right thigh, pushing that right knee back. Your left knee will be pushing that right foot forward. So a nice deep stretch here. Breathe into that right side. Let that breath swirl and help you feel any tension wash it away. Now bring those feet down to the mat and windshield wiper a couple times. We're going to move to the other side. So take that left foot, up to the ceiling, wiggle those toes, hello toes, and then take that left ankle on the right knee. You can leave it here or start to bring that right knee into your chest. Again, hands to your side or hands behind your right knee, holding on to that right thigh, left elbow on left thigh, pushing back gently here. Be very mindful. Yoga, your own gentle approach. Sherry Atkins, who's a yoga teacher, or Sherry Hotchkiss, she has MS, multiple sclerosis, and is a wonderful yoga teacher. And she believes yoga means your own gentle approach. So maybe remember that. And then release those feet to the ground. And again, windshield wiper your legs back and forth. And one last time, bringing your knees into your chest. Give yourself a nice hug here. Maybe again, shake your feet in your hands. Rub your feet together, your hands together. If you want one last pose, maybe maybe happy baby. Or maybe just bring your feet up towards the ceiling and legs up the wall, Viparita Karani, whatever feels good to you right here. We're going to move into Shavasana, final resting pose. So get comfortable and just relax those legs straight on the mat. You want each foot to each corner of your mat, nice wide legs here. Let those feet just flap open to the side. Your hands resting on your heart center, on your heart, or maybe one hand on your heart, one on your belly. Or you can just have your arms relaxing alongside of you, palms facing up. And just let it all go. Shavasana, final resting pose, letting the practice of today just melt into your body. Let your breath come back to natural. Just let it flow. No restrictions. Let your face just melt. Let the earth hold you here. As you're melting into the earth, it's enveloping you. It's holding you like clay in the ground. Feeling a very nice, steady, calm sense of ease and contentment. Continuing to breathe, inhaling and exhaling. Remembering here the practice of Santosha, one of being content, even when times are crazy, recognizing we don't always have control, but we can feel inside the ability to be quiet and still and content, even when we're feeling a discomfort. So you can continue here in Shavasana past this video, or if you choose, you can gently bring your knees in towards your chest, rolling over to one side and coming back up to Sukhasana or easy sit pose. or you can choose just to stay in Shavasana. If you're seated, bring your hands to heart center. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, and those who joined us today, to just be here. Namaste.